Hallo und herzlich willkommen zu Radikal Glücklich, deinem Podcast für ein strahlendes und gut gelauntes Leben. Und Achtung, ich sage kurz was in Englisch. Okay, this is number 15 in my first English episode on Radically Happy, Radikal Glücklich, which is the name of the podcast. And this is because I am interviewing Mia from the Soberglow in this podcast about sobriety, about glow and gray hair and the vulnerability behind it all. So if you're an English listener, take a minute, sip your tea. I'm gonna say some words in German for all the German listeners so they get an easy start into our interview. Okay, kleiner kurzer Break ins Englische. Ihr Lieben, dies ist mein erstes englisches Interview. Ich bin ein bisschen aufgeregt, wie euch das gefällt und wie das ist. Es ist für mich außerdem ein echter Fangirl-Moment gewesen. Ich glaube, ich interviewe hier tatsächlich alle Leute, die ich einfach gut finde und denen ich gerne folge. Und ich habe Mia interviewt, die eine wunderbare, tolle Ausstrahlung hat und die mit mir ganz offen gesprochen hat über ihren Weg ins Unmasking, wie sie es nennt, in die Masken ablegen. Wir haben über Authentizität gesprochen, über ihren Weg ins Nüchternsein, Alkohol loslassen, warum dieser Weg für sie wichtig war und wie es ihr heute damit geht, was sie heute tut, was ihre Pläne sind. Und wir sind über diesen Weg auch auf graue Haare gekommen, weil das ist, wie ich sie gefunden habe. Ich habe ihren Instagram-Account von einer Freundin empfohlen gekriegt, weil sie halt auch ungefähr zur gleichen Zeit sich entschieden hat, grau zu werden. Und wir sprechen über all das, was uns auf dem Weg begleitet, mehr wir selbst zu werden. Und wie sie im Moment lebt, was sich in ihrem Leben alles geändert hat durch diese Entscheidung, was sie für eine Arbeit macht, was sie als Hauptjob macht. Sie ist nämlich nicht Instagram-Influencerin, sondern macht auch noch andere Dinge. Darum geht's im Podcast. Und ich lade dich ein, auch wenn du dein Englisch vielleicht denkst, so, boah, ob ich das alles gut verstehen will. Sie spricht, finde ich, gut verständlich. Also hör einfach zu und du findest einige Erklärungen auf dem begleitenden Post zu diesem Podcast. Außerdem packe ich in die Shownotes ein paar Adressen, einmal amerikanische Adressen, die Mia erklärt, und auch eine deutsche Adresse. Falls das Thema Alkohol dir Sorgen bereitet, dann ist es gut, sich Hilfe zu holen. Und wo du Hilfe finden kannst, findest du unten in den Shownotes. Sorg für dich, kümmere dich um dich, sollte das ein Thema sein. Und jetzt wünsche ich dir viel Spaß bei dieser Folge, viel Spaß mit Mia und verzeihe, falls mein Englisch ein wenig gewöhnungsbedürftig ist. So, I'm excited to have you in an interview today, Mia from Los Angeles. And it's in the morning now that we're talking, I think.
Correct.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's in the evening here in Duisburg, and I'm happy to talk with you about your journey to happiness because I keep coming back, especially to your Instagram account, but also to your homepage to see what you are doing. And I think you're so amazing, inspiring. And let's hear what your journey on happiness was about or is about.
I guess I'm not sure if I was looking to make my life more happy, but I was looking to make it a little bit more peaceful or a lot more peaceful. My Instagram account that you talk about is all about my story becoming sober and what life looks like on the other side of the drinking lifestyle. Excuse me if I clear my throat a lot today. So that's how I started the Soberglow. And, you know, oddly enough, when you give up alcohol, something that's, you know, bringing down your vibration, you will find happiness. And it's, you know, it's tough to say if one way of doing things is better than the other because everybody's different. But I would say that being a sober woman has definitely made me more happy. So, and has brought more happy opportunities as well.
And was it a decision you made like from one day to the other, or was it a process becoming sober?
Yeah. It was a very long road, a very long decision process. I actually knew right away when I started drinking as a young girl that it wasn't for me. I knew that if I messed with it too much, it probably was going to be a problem. Although I just continued to. I drank in high school. I drank in my 20s, growing up pretty much in New York City, dancing on bar tops, working in a bar, hanging out with all of my girlfriends who worked in the bar as well. I knew that the life that I wanted for myself was not going to happen if I continued living that lifestyle. And the common denominator in all of it was always 100% alcohol. So I did not quit drinking until I was 39 years old. I'm 42 now. My 4-year sober anniversary comes up in September of this year. And when I was 39, I had this, like, I don't want to call it a premonition, but I had this feeling that I knew that I was going to be a sober woman by the time I was 40 years old. Not that I wanted to be, but I just knew it was going to happen. And I just got a head start. I got 11 months of a head start to 40. So
cool. That's cool.
Yeah.
It's often that when we have, like, we call it a round birthday. I don't know what you call it in America, but when there is a 0 at the end of the number, that we do massive changes.
Oh.
Did you notice that? Like, it's because I think we're questioning things when we turn into a new decade.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Especially 40.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to turn 50 next year. So let's see what that brings up to.
Nice.
Yeah. So you said that you kind of knew that you wouldn't be able to live the life you wanted for yourself. So what kind of vision did you have that kept you thinking about quitting to drink?
Okay. Well, on the outside, it looked fine. Really, it did. I was putting myself through school. I was supporting myself. I was making a fairly good amount of money working in the bars of New York City, or of the bar in New York City. I was able to support myself 100% plus some. I decided while I was working in the bar that I wanted to become a yoga instructor. I was always very into health and fitness. I loved to go on retreats and, try the latest cleanses and do everything that was healthy and trendy. So I got into yoga when I was in my 20s, did a yoga teacher training, did several actually, fell in love with it. So I was looking the part, and I was really trying to act the part as well. But, I would teach my yoga classes in the morning, and then at night I'd be dancing on the bar, like I said, or smoking cigarettes, running around to dive bars in New York City. It was very contradictory, the life I was living. And I wanted more of the peace that yoga was supposed to bring me, not just looking peaceful. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, I understand it so much. It's the yoga journey led me to eating mostly plant-based, led me to drink less alcohol. A week free now, sober. Let's see where that goes to. I don't know yet.
All right.
Yeah. I
no pressure.
No, I'm not putting pressure on it, but I felt like, well, it's about time to try it. Mm-hmm. I feel like it's about time to try it. What that does for me. But I don't like being drunk several years now. I used to cover uncertainty and insecurity a lot with drinking in my early 20s. I remember that, like, couldn't go out on the dance floor without feeling a little dizzy. I don't know.
Oh, for sure.
But all the yoga and growing older and getting more confident helped a lot to manage that. But I want to come back to the peace that yoga brings. And how about that peace today? Did you find what you were looking for?
Yes, and more actually. I feel like I'm still on the path. I'm still on this journey. It's going to be a lifelong journey. I've actually, since quitting drinking, I should be clear. I have not drank in 4 years, but I have never once said I will never drink again. For right now, not drinking suits me, and I love it. And I cannot foresee a day where I'm going to drink again. But I don't put pressure on myself or big boundaries on myself saying this will never happen again, because I think that sets people up for failure, or at least for me. I can't live like that. Excuse me. As far as finding peace and sobriety, yeah, life gets a lot more quiet in a really good way, but also much louder in a really good way as well.
You need to explain that.
Okay. So definitely living a more chill, relaxed lifestyle, not going out at night. I'm in bed by 8:30, sleeping by 9 o'clock on most nights. I'm also a very early riser. I'm up between 4 and 5 a.m. as well.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So just that alone is more peaceful. My husband and I, we moved to California about 1.5 years ago, and our lifestyle kind of changed a lot as well. We're not around a lot of our friends anymore. So it's just kind of him and I in the house or doing things here in California. There's not a lot of nighttime lifestyle here for us, which is sweet. More daytime lifestyle. And that's exactly what we're looking for. And when I say life gets louder in a really good way, it's because I'm more present for it. I'm there for it. Things that I'm doing, I'm connected with, as opposed to, say, if I go out with a friend, I'm out with my friend. I am talking to her and connecting to her and really being there with her, as opposed to when I used to go out with a girlfriend, we would go to a bar. It was loud. You can't hear each other talk. You're getting drunk little by little. You're disconnecting. When you actually think you're connecting with someone over drinks, you're actually disconnecting from them. You're disconnecting not only from yourself, from the outside world, but you're disconnecting from the person sitting in front of you, which I didn't want to do that anymore. Because when you're sitting there with someone talking and you're thinking about, should I have another drink? You're not really paying attention, and let alone if you even remember the conversation the night before. And more than likely those conversations when you're drunk, connecting/disconnecting with your girlfriends, it's all bullshit anyway. Can I swear? I'm so sorry.
Oh yeah, that's how you can do everything you want.
Okay. So you really just, being in relationships as a sober person is loud and vibrant, and it's just a great way to be connected to another human. It's not always the best, and it can go either way. Like sometimes you realize you don't want to be connected to that person anymore. But in the bigger sense of things, that's what I mean by it gets really loud in the nicest, best way.
And did you, about feeling or connecting really to people, did you lose friends or did connections drop away? How was that? Did you had like drinking buddies, party buddies who couldn't face the mirror you maybe was for them?
Yeah, it's tricky because I was in New York for 20 years, and most of my core girlfriends were the girlfriends that I met in the bar, and they all drank as much as I did. And we continued that, even though we left the bar, we went into our own careers. Whenever we got together, it was that same mentality of drinking. And when I quit drinking, I didn't tell anyone right away. It was one of the first times I had tried drinking or tried not drinking a lot, and would tell everybody right away, I'm no longer drinking, or I'm going to do 90 days here or 60 days here. But this time it was different. I didn't tell anyone other than my husband. And I waited about 100 days before I actually said something out loud publicly. And it switched a little bit. Everyone was kind of questioning me, like, how long is this forever? Like, when will you drink again? When can we go out for brunch again?
Well, you can still eat.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. And the thing is, I was still going out with my husband and my girlfriends. I just wasn't drinking. So no one truly knew what was going on. They didn't know what I had in the back of my mind, that I wasn't going forward with drinking. I just didn't talk about it. And if they asked, I just kind of blew it off a little bit. So when I actually did start talking about it publicly and everyone was kind of questioning me, no one really backed away from me too much. I can think of a relationship or two that changed, and I know that a couple of things were said, for a lack of a better term, behind my back about it that I wasn't too impressed with. And I just realized, okay, like, this is what people talk about, relationships are going to change when you get sober, especially your drinking friends. And I thought that, my drinking friends were my friends. They were, and they still are, other than, one or two where, the relationship isn't where it used to be, and it probably never will be. And I think what you said earlier, that mirror, I can't explain it for someone else's side and not wanting to be around me, but I can imagine that that's probably what it is. So they don't want to address their own drinking.
Well, yeah, I feel that's my imagination, because I feel the way when I'm at a dinner, and I don't like to talk about it, because every time I say I don't eat meat, and no fish please, and no eggs and all that stuff, then people keep telling me about how much organic meat and how less they eat, and it's like they're feeling bad, and it's like, oh, eat whatever you want, I just don't want to be there anymore. And I feel it might be the same with alcohol too. Have you ever on that journey questioned your journey, or was it like from day one feeling glowy and glamorous and
wonderful? Hell no. No, I mean, okay, so I tend to get a lot of slack for this because I'm super boisterous about the sober lifestyle. I do not believe that everybody needs to be sober. Absolutely. I don't live my life like that. I just want to be sober. So I'm going to come from my perspective. Whatever anybody else wants to do, they can do. That said, so I just want to be super clear.
Yeah, well,
I mean, I am not judging anybody, but when I say that sobriety has been one of the best things in my life, I am so serious about that. I don't look at it as a negative or hard. I look at it as a great choice that I've made for myself, because when I wasn't sober, my life wasn't crappy. It just wasn't what I wanted. So I can't say there was a lot of darkness around it, but there was a lot of drama in my life, I should say. I don't have that drama in my life anymore. That's huge. So call it darkness or drama or whatever you want to call it. So I always look at my sobriety as something very, very positive. A lot of people like to call that fake, unfortunately, or self-promoting, or just whatever bullshit. Anybody can think whatever they want to think, but that's how I feel about it. And then on the other side of it, I work as an oncology registered nurse. I see what shitty things can happen to a person, and what terrible paths and the dumb luck, and I see true struggle every day of my life. And oh gosh, I should take that. it's not that someone who is not drinking has not struggled, but I'm just surrounded by people in the hospital who are fighting for their lives as well. So I see that. So when I come onto Instagram, that's my place of like fun, happiness, silliness. Like, how great is this that we made this choice, you know? Because at work, I'm surrounded in that stress bubble. So Instagram is like my happy place. And again, I just want to say, like, yes, I see people struggling in the hospital with cancer. I also know that there is a very, very difficult struggle for people with alcohol. I don't want to dismiss that in any way, shape, or form. So I hope that's clear. But I'm just making the contrast of why I'm so uplifting around my sobriety, because during the day I'm super fucking stressed out, you know?
Well, yeah, and it might put things in the right priorities when you see true struggles, like we all have, but cancer is one of the bad things that can happen to us, I believe. And the choices we make in life should make us feel good. So why not be happy about it?
Yeah. It's perspective, and everybody has their own perspective and their own journey, and not everybody is sober by choice. Not everybody wants to be sober. I'm grateful I had the choice, and I had the resources and the ability to make the choice, and I had support in my life, and it turned out well for me. I am grateful for that. But I absolutely will not stop shining my bright light on that choice, so others can be more comfortable with it.
Yeah, and you can only, like, when people say stuff about you behind your back, or writing messages on Instagram or wherever places they can do it, they will do, and it says more about them and their struggle, I feel. So it's like, I think Gabby Bernstein once said, forgive and delete. So I feel that that's what I do.
I like that. Forgive and delete. All right. I should keep that in mind.
I like that. So how I manage it. So I would love to talk with you about another subject, because I found you not on your sober journey, but a friend suggested I should see your profile because you have gray hair too. And I'm on a gray journey for 2 years. So how did that come? Tell me about your gray journey.
Love it. Love it. Thank you for letting me talk about it. So I call my releasing alcohol my unmasking. So letting go of the hair dye was just another way for me to unmask myself. I had been wanting to stop coloring my hair for many years, and I got a lot of naysayers, like, absolutely not. You're crazy. Are you out of your mind? My husband would like give me weird looks like, okay, babe, you can do whatever you want, but
are you sure?
Yeah. Are you sure you want this? But it's a lot like giving up alcohol for me, because I went through the same vulnerabilities, the same questioning myself. How are people going to, react to this? Wearing a head full of silver hair is like wearing your heart right on your shoulder. It's your vulnerability right there. And I don't know what it was. We moved out to California. I didn't know that many people. And I had my hair colored a couple of times, maybe 2 or 3 times out here. And I just said, you know what, screw it. Let's do this. I canceled my appointment, and then I did a huge Google search and found a gray hair transition specialist in the LA area. And I went out to her, and she pretty much stripped all the color from my hair, strand by strand. It cost a ton of money. It took all day and all night for her to do. And she only did the sides of my hair and the top, or sides of my head and the top of my head. So I still had, like, the back of my head was dyed brown, and then the sides and the top were this bleached blonde that they had put gray gloss in it. And I wasn't really aware of what was happening. The gray gloss lasted like 3 days. And then as soon as I washed that out, I had bleached hair. So I said, absolutely no way. I'm not going to do this anymore. I'm going to put it in a bun. And I left it there for about 16 months. And I chopped a ton of it off. I left it long enough so I could wear it up and back. And then my hair grows super fast. So it really didn't take that long until I started seeing significant white, silver, gray hair. And I just cut the end color off this month. So.
Oh, good. Great.
Yeah,
now you're all natural and great.
Yeah. There's a little bit of like, bleach stuff up there, but it's fine.
Here too, I've like 2 or 3 centimeters left. Yeah, my hair grows really slow, so I'm like, if I could pull, I would pull. But I didn't do the bleaching stuff, and I'm a little happy right now.
Yeah. Wait, and you're blonde too, right?
Yeah, I'm blonde. I was blonde too. I had blonde dyed hair, but not that or not white.
Yeah.
And I'm natural, like dark blonde. So, and now it's all gray in front. So I love it. I love the hair. Yeah. But I had lots of people telling me, oh no, you can't do it. And you look older. And I had men with no hair telling me, are you sure? I'm like, well, should we really talk about hair? Do you want?
Yeah. I talk about it a lot at work because obviously I'm working with a lot of people who have lost their hair or their hair is starting to come back and it's coming back gray and they're super excited. They're like, what do you think? Like, what should I do? And a lot of women are keeping the gray hair and I'm a huge supporter of them for doing that and they're biggest cheerleaders. But then even yesterday, one of my patients said to me, they're like, Maya, I just got to tell you, I'm not keeping this gray hair. I'm coloring it back. And I hope you're not disappointed in me.
And you're like, well, yeah, I am.
Yeah. So it's fun. It's fun. And I actually, it's crazy. I don't get upset, but I get a little annoyed because so many people think it's fake. And people I've been working with, again, just yesterday said, oh, you don't do anything. You're not doing that. I'm like, no, this is my hair, like I don't know.
But let's talk about the fact that I feel that the unmasking, like having the hair that is naturally on you and not trying, for me, it was also not trying to look younger than I am, to be as I am, like I was made. That also makes us more vulnerable, but it also makes me happier because I feel like I can be more myself. How do you feel about that?
I agree. Absolutely. I guess I wouldn't use the word vulnerable anymore with it. I'm actually quite proud of it. I love it. I love talking about it. I love it when women ask me about it. More and more people are stopping me and asking if it's real, why. I haven't really gotten a lot of naysayers with it. 1 or 2 patients who have given me a little grief about what I've done to myself, but all in good fun.
Okay, yeah, well, that's good.
Yeah. And if anyone doesn't like it, they haven't told me, and quite frankly, I don't give a shit. I'm quite happy with it. I will never, ever, and I don't even say this about drinking, but I will never color my hair again. I won't put anything in it. So.
Yeah, me neither. Yeah. I totally agree. So I would love to switch to what else you do. You talked about your sleeping time and getting up really early in the morning. So let's see, which kind of rituals or routines do you have to keep on track and keep yourself focused and clear? Do you have some things you can tell me?
Yeah. Well, I love expressive writing. I'm a big journal writer, not necessarily one that I want to ever look back on in a month or 2 years or anything like that. When it comes to expressive writing, I call it, and sorry again for swearing, but I call it my fuck you journal. So where I get all of the crap that's like going on in my head, the negative thinking, the negative talking, if I'm upset about something or someone, like I put it down on paper and I get it out. And most of the time I'll just burn it. But I never read it again. It's not to be read again. It's just to get out. Big fan of that. That's one of my favorite tools. I just started doing my teacher certification or healer certification, whatever you want to call it, with David Elliott. He is a breathwork healer. And
I saw that in your story.
Oh my God. It's truly one of the best things I've ever come into contact with. I did it back in New York with this woman one time. And I remember walking out of the class being like, oh my God. It was the first time that I had done something like that since I was sober. And that's exactly the feeling that I was looking for every time I had a drink of alcohol. It was amazing. And then life got busy and I moved to California and I ended up going to a women's circle that had breath work and I fell madly in love with it. And I went straight to the source, and signed up for these certification weekends. And my last one is coming up in June out in Joshua Tree in the desert. So yeah, I wasn't sure if I was going to share it with people, but I don't know. I think I will. I'm going to be launching a coaching program for the gray area drinker. And I will most certainly be incorporating it with that. So yeah, it's definitely moving. That's a tool. That's a ritual.
So do you do your breath work like every morning or every day? Is it like pranayama in yoga?
No. Well, I mean, it's a breath. It's way too powerful for me to do every day. It is breath work like pranayama, but it's a 2-part breath where it's 2 inhales and an exhale out through the mouth. There's many types of breath work. And to be honest, I don't do any of the other types. I just strictly am into this right now, and what it's been doing for me. So
that sounds great. You have to do an explanation on your story once again.
Okay,
please.
I will. Okay,
because I'm curious about it. I'm really curious. So that sounds great. So what do you do in the morning when you get up that early? If you don't do breath work.
Oh, well, I have, my matcha or my coffee. I like to pull a tarot card. Are you into tarot at all?
Well, I pull a card, but I can't do tarot really. I've never learned it. I need to learn it, I think.
Okay. Yeah. I had some girlfriends introduce me to it this past summer and I fell in love with it. And then I signed up for a tarot class too. It's an 8-week tarot course, which is really special.
Cool.
So I do that, or the oracle cards. That's fun. And the writing, I work out. I have, I am a big proponent of exercise. You got to sweat. So.
Oh, that sounds great. That sounds really great.
Yeah, I work super early. So it's not like I have a ton of time in the morning. If I'm up at 5, I'm out the door within an hour and 45 minutes. So I have to, yeah.
It's like, because I'm working at home. So I was like, what does she do all that time? Okay. So I want to ask you about, you said earlier when we talked that you are more present right now when you quit drinking. And now we talked about the breath work and that you're going to make a program, I heard, but going to come to that later.
Okay.
But I would love to know what else helped you to be more in the moment, to be more present. Because I'm talking about myself, it's like kind of, I get distracted really, really, really soon. even if I'm meditating or every day and doing yoga every day, I'm still like, oh.
Yeah.
So what helps you being present and not procrastinating things, just doing your stuff and not being in the past or in the future all the time?
Oh, well, I mean, I'm certainly doing all those things too. I just don't do them a lot. It's all relative as well. When I was drinking, I was constantly thinking about who I'm going out with, what are we going to do, which party are we going to, which place are we going to? And then the next day was this, I feel like crap. I'm going to eat like crap to make myself feel better. And then maybe I'll have the hair of the dog. We'll go out for brunch or dinner to, it was this constant, it was almost like a chasing of a tail. Like you're never going to achieve this happiness because it's just a vicious cycle. But now, when you take that out, when you're not thinking about drinking or recovering from drinking, there's so much time and space to do other things. It alleviates a lot of mental blockage. It just clears the energy around it, and you have all this new energy. And being present for me is just learning to be soft, learning to be truthful, apologizing right away if I know I've done something wrong, and telling on myself, calling myself out on my own bullshit, and just forgiving myself and finding grace in how I live. I hope that it comes across as just being soft with oneself in all of this space is where I find that peace.
Yeah, that
makes sense.
Yeah, that makes total sense, because I feel like some of the distractions come from they aim to do stuff to prove something, and being soft means to accept and the moment and oneself too and other persons too. So yeah, that makes sense for me, of course.
Yeah.
So you talked about a program you're launching, and I saw you did you did some put out some questions for your community, for your online community, about gray area drinking. So you might need to explain what you call gray area drinking means for people who haven't yet followed you, but of course soon will.
Sure. Okay, so I posted 11 questions, and oh gosh, I'll have to. They're questions on the site, the niaaa.nih.gov. Forgive me, I don't remember exactly what it stands for.
You're going to give me the link, and I'm going to put it in the show notes.
Okay, perfect. And it's not actually a gray area drinking, this site. This site was all about alcohol use disorder. So on a scale of how many of these questions out of 11 are you answering yes to? And if you are answering yes, you might have an alcohol use disorder. It's not labeling anyone as a quote unquote alcoholic. It's not telling anyone they have a physical addiction to alcohol. It's just alcohol use disorder. Now, my words and the words of someone who I've studied with, Jolene Park, this qualifies as gray area drinking. So drinking is not just black and white. It's not social every once in a while, no problem. And it's not just drinking alcoholically. There's a huge area of gray when it comes to drinking. And I myself absolutely fell into that area. And sometimes it was light gray, sometimes it was mid gray, sometimes it was dark gray. But it was never completely normal, and it was never alcoholic. So there's a huge amount of space right there. So when I posted these questions from this website, they weren't my questions. They were word for word the questions from the site. I answered them, though, personally for myself. And I shared my personal experience and my answers online, and then allowed space for other people to answer those questions, whether they did it on my site, on Instagram, or if they did it, I got a lot of direct messages with people's answers, or if they just did it personally for themselves. And I got a lot of feedback from that. Unfortunately, for whatever reason, it triggered seemingly a lot of people. I got a lot of negative comments, a lot of negative feedback directly to me. And I can't for sure say why, other than it triggered people. But this is the area that I absolutely want to focus my work in, this gray area, alcohol use disorder, whatever you want to call it, because I believe that so many people have this thinking that if I'm not an alcoholic, if my life isn't down in the dumps and, I'm not labeling myself, or I don't identify as an alcoholic, then everything else is fine, when it's not fine. So my work is focusing in that middle with women on, you've got to listen to that voice, because everybody has the voice, and they may not be listening to it, or they may be choosing to ignore it. There's that voice telling you that something's not right about this. And I want to make sure that people know that it's okay to stop drinking, even if you don't think you're an alcoholic. A lot of people just don't, they're like, oh, it's fine. It's fine. Life is fine. I don't have to stop drinking, or I don't want to stop drinking. Listen, like, drinking was fun for me. Some of my best memories is all around alcohol, but it's just not worth it anymore. And I want people to know that it's okay to be on this side, to not be a drinker, and you're going to survive. You're going to thrive. And it doesn't have to be black and white. It's not. I just want people to be aware of that gray area.
Yeah, that's so true. Thank you for the explanation.
Yeah.
So I'm curious about what you're going to bring up for women to get clearer and to maybe try the sober journey if they want to.
Yeah. I resisted this work a lot. And I've had the Instagram account now for almost 3 years. And on a daily basis, I'm answering women's questions. I'm giving tips. I'm giving advice, resourcing, recommending them to other people or sites or places. And it's becoming too much for me. We've already surpassed that. It's way too much for me. And I want to be able to work with women more directly on a one-on-one basis, because I want to see their progress. I hate answering someone, giving them all of myself in a question of theirs, and then they ghost. I never know what happens.
Yeah. I feel you.
Yeah. And, I hope for the best. And, every once in a while I'll get someone in my direct message saying, oh my God, it's been this long. And ever since, thank you so much. And I'll be, thank you for getting, thank you. So this coaching program, and I am the last one who ever thought I would become a coach. This coaching program is going to focus directly on the women who are either in it right now, in that gray area, trying to find a way out of it gracefully, or the women who have already stepped out and need just a little added push. But that is where I'm focusing all of my work. among all the other things I'm doing. But yes, that will be soon. There are a couple things that need to be settled up and have some finishing touches on, but that is in the future. So the coaching for gray area drinkers, along with the breath work. So
it sounds really great. And I think that's how our path unfolds. It's about getting our own stuff done, our own things solved. And what we learn is the only thing we can teach.
Yeah.
So that is what I feel. That's why I am a coach. And it's the same. I keep telling my clients, okay, you need to tell me after a couple of weeks or month, how are you doing? Please do that. Because even if you're working one-on-one, you don't know what will be. And sometimes there's somebody coming back and say, well, I was in your workshop or I did your training. And I'm like, oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks for letting me know. So good.
Yeah.
So, Mia, we are almost done with the interview. Is there anything else you want to say you have in mind that hasn't been reached yet with one of my questions?
Just if you have a listener out there who is hearing the voice and they're curious about this whole sober lifestyle, reach out to someone, whether it's you or me or someone in their life who they know who's sober. Just explore that voice. Allow it to have volume in your life, because the more you like push it down and ignore it, it's going to start screaming at you in a way that you may not want. Gosh, I mean, that's what I got right now is you just got to reach out and trust it and explore. Do something that inspires you. When I first quit drinking, I started meditating, writing, and working out, and those were my 3 non-negotiables. Because you take away alcohol in your life, but you have all this room to add such goodness back into it. So focus on what you can add into your life as opposed to looking at it as losing something.
Yeah. Gaining more. I love your manifest. I want to say that. Your manifesto in your highlights.
Oh, yeah. Thank you. I love it.
I love it. I screenshotted it and have it in my favorites on my phone. So if anybody is listening right now, you need to take a look at that too, please.
Thank you.
And I'm gonna say some stuff in front of the interview so everybody knows where to find you. I'm gonna put your Instagram and your site in the show notes so people can reach out to you. And if you're ever coming to Europe, please let us know so we can see you. We can come and see you.
Okay.
So Mia, thank you for taking the time, spending the morning a little bit with me and the listeners from Germany. So great to talk to you.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
And nobody can see her right now because it's just a podcast, which is only audio, but she has just like such a glow. If that's what I get when I'm drinking alcohol, I'm totally into it. I know where your name comes from, Soberglow. I love it.
Yeah.
So have a wonderful day. Thank you for the time. And if there are any questions, people, of course, can reach out to you. Just said that. And if I get questions I can't answer, I will give them to you, maybe, if that's possible. So
sure, of course.
You can help me out with things I don't know about. Okay?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, then I'm going to say bye and end the recording. So bye-bye. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you. You too.
Hey und pst, es gibt einen neuen Podcast von mir, der ursprünglich auf einer von mir geschaffenen Kursplattform nur zur Verfügung gestellt wurde. Er heißt Zurück zur Natur und ich beschreibe darin, wie ich ätherische Öle und Supplements nutze und was ich den Leuten, die das mit mir entdecken, rate. Wenn du also Lust hast, auf diesem Weg auch mir ein bisschen zuzuhören, dann findest du Zurück zur Natur überall da, wo du auch diesen Podcast findest. Viel Spaß beim Zuhören.